Have you ever scrolled through Instagram at midnight and suddenly found yourself checking out with a cart full of things you didn't even know existed an hour ago? Maybe it was a skincare routine. Maybe it was workout gear. Maybe it was some gadget that promised to change your life. And here's the thing. You felt good about it in the moment. You felt like you were investing in yourself, upgrading your life, finally becoming the person you're supposed to be. But 3 days later, when that package arrives, something feels different. The excitement is gone, and you're left wondering why you spent $80 on something you've already forgotten about. Here's what nobody talks about. This isn't a you problem. This isn't about lacking willpower or being bad with money. What's happening is that social media platforms have become the most sophisticated spending influence machines ever created, and they're designed, down to the algorithm, to make you spend money in ways that feel completely natural. Here at Simple Money, we've spent months analyzing how these platforms actually work, how they use psychology, how they use your data, how they use your own desires against you. And today, I'm going to reveal exactly how social media shapes your spending habits. More importantly, I'm going to show you how to see these patterns so clearly that you can't be manipulated by them anymore. Because once you understand the game, you can stop playing by their rules. So let's talk about what's really happening here. Right now, the average person spends about 2.5 hours per day on social media. That's 17.5 hours per week. That's over 900 hours per year. Think about that. 900 hours of content designed to make you feel something. And most of that something involves wanting things you don't have. But here's what makes this different from traditional advertising. When you watched a commercial on TV, you knew it was a commercial. Your brain had defenses up. You understood someone was trying to sell you something. Social media is sneakier. Way sneakier. You're not watching ads. You're watching your friends. You're watching people you admire. You're watching people who seem just like you, except slightly better, slightly happier, slightly more put together. And every single post is a whisper in your ear saying the same thing. You could have this too. You should have this too. Everyone else has this. What are you waiting for? The platforms know something that took advertisers decades to figure out. People don't buy products, they buy identities. They buy the feeling of becoming someone new. And social media is the most powerful identity delivery system ever invented. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every time you open Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, you're not just consuming content, you're consuming a vision of who you could be. And that vision always requires buying something. Let me break down exactly how this works. I'm going to show you 5 specific patterns that are draining your bank account right now. And once you see them, you'll recognize them everywhere. The first pattern is what I call the comparison engine. Here's how it works. Social media shows you a carefully curated highlight reel of other people's lives. But your brain doesn't process it that way. Your brain sees it as reality, as the normal baseline of how life should be. So when you see someone your age traveling to Bali, your brain doesn't think, oh, they saved for 2 years and this is a special trip. Your brain thinks, everyone is traveling to Bali. Why aren't I traveling to Bali? What's wrong with me? When you see someone wearing a new outfit in every post, your brain doesn't think, they probably work in fashion or they're creating content. Your brain thinks, I need more clothes. My wardrobe is pathetic. This is called social comparison theory. And it's hardwired into humans. We've always evaluated ourselves by looking at others around us. But here's the problem. For most of human history, you compared yourself to maybe 50 people in your village. People you actually knew. People whose real circumstances you understood. Now you're comparing yourself to thousands of people. People who are literally paid to look aspirational. People who are showing you the top 1% of their lives. And your brain can't tell the difference. It just knows you're falling behind. So you buy things to close the gap, to feel normal again, to feel like you're keeping up. Except you're not keeping up with real people. You're keeping up with a manufactured illusion, and that race never ends. The second pattern is what I call the invisible advertisement. Traditional ads are obvious. You see a billboard, you know it's an ad. You see a TV commercial, you know it's an ad. But when you see someone you follow talking about their morning coffee routine, and they just happen to mention the brand of their coffee maker, and they just happen to include a link in their bio, your brain doesn't register it as an ad. It registers as a recommendation from a friend. as authentic advice, as someone genuinely sharing what works for them. This is influencer marketing, and it's insanely effective because it bypasses all your normal defenses. Here's what makes it even more powerful. These influencers are chosen specifically because they feel relatable. They feel like you, or like who you could become with just a little effort. They're not celebrities on a distant pedestal. They're people who seem accessible, who respond to comments, who share their struggles. And when they recommend something, it feels personal. It feels like insider information, like they're letting you in on a secret. But here's the reality. They're being paid, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars per post. And everything they show you, from the product placement to the lighting to the caption, has been carefully crafted to make you want to buy. The Federal Trade Commission requires them to disclose this. That's why you see hashtags like ad, or sponsored, or partner. But those little tags don't change how your brain processes the information. You still feel like you're getting authentic advice. You still feel that personal connection. And that connection makes you want to buy. Not because you need the product, but because buying it makes you feel closer to that person, closer to that lifestyle, closer to that identity. The third pattern is the data prediction machine. This one is particularly frightening because most people have no idea it's happening. Here's what you need to understand. Every single thing you do on social media is tracked. Every post you like, every video you watch, every profile you visit, how long you look at each image, what time of day you're most active, what you click on, what you scroll past, all of that data gets fed into an algorithm. And that algorithm builds a psychological profile of you. It knows what you want before you know you want it. Then it shows you products at the exact moment you're most vulnerable to buying them. Had a bad day at work? Here's an ad for comfort food delivery. Feeling insecure about your appearance? Here's an ad for skincare. Feeling behind in life? Here's an ad for a course that promises to change everything. These aren't random. They're precisely targeted based on thousands of data points about your behavior, your emotions, your desires, your fears. And the ads don't even look like ads anymore. They appear in your feed looking exactly like regular posts. Same format, same style, same everything. The only difference is that they were designed by a team of marketers with unlimited budget who know exactly what makes you click buy. You think you're just browsing. You think you're in control. But the platform is conducting psychological warfare on your wallet. And it's winning. The fourth pattern is what I call the aesthetic arms race. Social media has created this expectation that your life should look a certain way. Not just your life. Your coffee should look a certain way. Your desk should look a certain way. Your bookshelf should look a certain way. Everything has to be aesthetic. Everything has to be photograph-worthy. Everything has to fit into this carefully curated visual identity. And maintaining that aesthetic costs money, a lot of money. You need the right lighting, the right background, the right clothes, the right props, the right everything. But here's what's insane. You're not even enjoying these things. You're buying them to photograph them, to prove to other people that you have them. Think about how often you've bought something primarily because of how it would look in a photo. The fancy coffee, the trendy restaurant, the vacation spot. You're not buying experiences anymore. You're buying content. You're buying proof of a lifestyle. And the platforms encourage this because every photo you post is free advertising. Every time you tag a brand or a location, you're doing their marketing for them. Meanwhile, you're spending hundreds or thousands of dollars to be an unpaid billboard for companies that don't even know you exist. The fifth pattern is the FOMO accelerator. FOMO, fear of missing out. It's not new. Humans have always felt it. But social media has turned it into a weapon. Here's how it works. You see something trending. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's buying it. Everyone's experiencing it. And suddenly you feel this urgent pressure. If you don't get it now, you'll be left behind. You'll miss the moment. You'll be the only one who doesn't have it. This is especially powerful with limited time offers. Flash sales, exclusive drops, limited edition releases. The message is always the same. Act now or regret it forever. Everyone else is doing it. Don't be the one who misses out. Your rational brain knows this is manipulation. Your rational brain knows that most things aren't actually that urgent. But your emotional brain doesn't care. Your emotional brain is screaming at you to click buy before it's too late. And once you've bought it, once that package arrives, the FOMO disappears. and you're left with something you don't really need or want. But by then, there's already something new to be afraid of missing out on. And the cycle starts again. Now here's where this gets really interesting. And this is the part that nobody wants to admit. These patterns aren't bugs, they're features. Social media platforms make money from advertising. The more time you spend on the platform, the more ads you see. The more ads you see, the more you buy. The more you buy, the more advertisers pay to be on the platform. Your spending is literally the business model. So everything about these platforms is designed to keep you scrolling, keep you engaged, keep you wanting, keep you buying. The algorithm doesn't show you posts that make you content with what you have. It shows you posts that make you want more. It doesn't show you people who are satisfied with simple lives. It shows you people who are constantly upgrading, constantly acquiring, constantly becoming. Because satisfied people don't buy things. Wanting people buy things. And social media is engineered to keep you wanting. Let me tell you about Maya. Maya's 26. She makes $55,000 a year. Pretty solid income for her age. But every month, she's somehow broke, and she can't figure out why. She doesn't think she's overspending. She's not buying crazy expensive things. She's just buying normal stuff. Stuff everyone has. But here's what Maya's actually doing. Every morning she scrolls through Instagram while drinking her coffee. She sees her favorite influencer talking about a new serum. Just $28. That's nothing. She buys it. At lunch, she's on TikTok. She sees a video about the perfect work bag. Everyone in the comments is raving about it. It's on sale, just $75. She buys it. After work, she's on YouTube. An ad pops up for a productivity course. It's exactly what she needs to finally get organized. Just $147. Investment in herself. She buys it. Before bed, she's back on Instagram. She sees someone her age just bought a new apartment. Suddenly her apartment feels shabby. She needs new throw pillows, new wall art, maybe a new rug. She spends $300 at Target. $550 in one day. And Maya doesn't even register it as a spending problem, because none of those purchases felt excessive in the moment. Each one felt small, justified, normal. Everyone else has these things, but multiply that by 30 days. That's $16,500 a year, almost a third of her income, on things she didn't even know she wanted until social media told her she needed them. Maya blames herself. She thinks she's bad with money. She thinks she lacks discipline. But Maya's problem isn't discipline. It's that she's trying to fight a system designed by some of the smartest engineers and psychologists in the world. A system designed to make her spend. Now let me tell you about James. James is 27. He makes $52,000 a year, almost the same as Maya. But James has $8,000 in savings, and he's still buying things he enjoys. What's the difference? James doesn't have better willpower. He's not smarter. He's not more disciplined. James just has a different system. First, James deleted social media apps from his phone. Not forever, just moved them to his laptop. He still checks Instagram and TikTok. But now, he has to be intentional about it. He can't mindlessly scroll during every free moment. That one change cut his daily social media time from 3 hours to 30 minutes. Second, James has a rule. If he sees something he wants to buy, he writes it down. Then, he waits 48 hours. After 48 hours, he can buy it if he still wants it. 90% of the time, he doesn't remember what it was. Or he realizes he doesn't actually want it. He just wanted the feeling it promised. Third, James unfollowed anyone whose posts made him feel bad about his life. Anyone who made him feel behind. Anyone whose lifestyle felt like a constant reminder of what he didn't have. Instead, he follows people who teach him things. People who make him laugh. People who share ideas, not shopping lists. These aren't complicated strategies, but they changed everything. Because James isn't fighting his willpower anymore. He's fighting the system. And when you fight the system, you win. Here's what most people don't realize. This isn't actually about social media at all. Social media is just the delivery mechanism. The real issue is that we've outsourced our sense of identity to external validation. We don't know who we are anymore unless other people confirm it. We don't know what we want anymore unless we see other people wanting it first. We've become so disconnected from our own desires, our own values, our own definition of a good life, that we need social media to tell us what to want. And when your identity depends on external validation, you'll always be spending money to maintain it. That new phone isn't about the phone. It's about proving you're successful. That vacation isn't about relaxation. It's about proving you're living life fully. That outfit isn't about comfort. It's about proving you're put together. Every purchase becomes a statement, a defense, a proof of worth. And that's exhausting, and expensive, and ultimately empty. Because no amount of purchases will ever give you the internal sense of identity that you're looking for. No amount of likes will make you feel secure. No amount of followers will make you feel enough. The people who escape this trap aren't the people with more money. They're the people who stop looking outside themselves for validation. They're the people who know what they value, what they actually enjoy, what makes their life better versus what just makes their life look better. And once you know that difference, everything changes. You stop buying things to impress people you don't know. You stop buying things to become someone you're not. You stop buying things to fill a void that purchases can't fill. You start spending money on what actually matters to you. What actually improves your life. What actually brings you joy. And suddenly, you have more money. Not because you're depriving yourself, but because you're not wasting it on performative purchases anymore. So here's what I want you to understand. The comparison engine, the invisible advertisement, the data prediction machine, the aesthetic arms race, the FOMO accelerator, these aren't character flaws. These aren't personal failures. These are predictable patterns that can be overcome once you understand them. The question isn't whether social media influences your spending. It absolutely does. The question is whether you're aware enough to make conscious choices instead of algorithmic ones. Can you scroll without buying? Can you see something beautiful without needing to own it? Can you watch someone's highlight reel without comparing it to your real life? Can you exist online without constantly performing? Without constantly proving? Without constantly spending? Because the moment you can, you're free. Free from the algorithm, free from the comparison, free from the endless cycle of wanting what everyone else has. And that freedom is worth more than anything you could buy.